Welcome to part 2 of our absolute basics tutorial in Blender. This is for the benefit of those who have missed the other lunchtime club ones. Lunchtime club 3D modeling tutorials. Okay, hopefully you've got the sheet in front of you. If you've been playing around with Blender already, I'd like you to go through, press File, New. That'll return everything on your screen back to the way it should be. Okay, step 1 says this. Once in edit mode, how do I choose to select the dots, the lines or the squares of an object? The first thing we have to do is we're going to get this little cube here. I'm going to zoom in a little just so you can see things better on the video, and I'm going to hit the object mode button and bring it up to edit mode. Okay, once I'm here, you'll see if I right click, or if you're in the Apple computer suite, you'll be doing the command clicking. I can go through and select these dots around the outside. Those dots have got a fancy name. Each one of these dots is called a vertex. If you look down the bottom, you'll see a little dot sitting right down there. And at the moment, this part here is shaded in, and I am in vertex mode. Good stuff. There we go. We're selecting the vertexes by right clicking them, or if you don't have a right clicker, you are command clicking the dots. If I so desired, I could grab these arrows just like we did before and move them in and out, okay, or up and down, or left and right. Okay, so I'm going to start pressing Control Z to bring things back to where they were at the beginning. I just press Control Z then about 3 times to remove all the stuff I've been doing to it. Have a look down the bottom, back where it says vertex mode. We're getting rid of the vertex mode now, and we're jumping across into this thing called edge select mode. If I do that, when I go and right click or command click my thing now, I'm now selecting these lines. The fancy name for a line, as you've probably guessed, is edge. And what I can do is I can go through and select those, grab them and move them around. If I wanted to, I could go down here like we saw in the previous tutorial and get the size mode, and I could size them up and size them down. Okay, so I can do all sorts of wonderful stuff to the edges. Right click or command click, in and out. Oh, not too far. Okay, I could even go to the rotate and turn these guys around. Okay, all good. But I'm getting off track. Back to the grab. We've been through the vertex mode, the points. We've been through the edge mode. These are the edges. Now, the other mode there, as you can see, is a little tiny square. It's like the square up on the boxes. If we click that, you'll notice a dot appears in the middle of each box. If we right click those, we can now drag them up and drag them down. This is called face mode. Dragging the faces up and down, and dragging the faces left and right. Okay. In other words, I've taken the entire outside of this, and in the inside, I've selected it with the right click, I've clicked and dragged and moving it in and out. Okay, I made a big mess of my cube. I'm going to go Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z until basically I bring it all the way back to how it was at the beginning. Ooh, there's my edges, there's my vertexes, or vertices, and that was a lot of changes. I'm right back to the beginning again. Good stuff. Right, by the way, if you hadn't guessed already from the previous tutorial, right then I Alt left clicked to move it around, or if you're lucky enough and you've got a middle mouse button, you can click the middle mouse button and move it around. Let's move on though. That was number 1. How do I select the dots, lines and squares? You can cross out dots, lines and squares now and use the fancy words. The vertexes or vertices, the edges and the faces. Number 2, here are some important keys to press. Something does grabbing. Strange enough, grab starts with G. So if we press the G and then start moving the mouse around, we have actually got a grab. And that's what G stands for, grab. Once I've got my grabbing in the right place, I click and it stays there. Now, clicking, press G, I can move it around. and then I click once it's in the right place. Rightio, I'm going back to face mode because I like faces. In fact, I'm going to bring it right back to where it was before. So I've got my nice little cube again. Go to face mode, select the face, scale or size. Okay, I press the S key because that's what it starts with, S, and I bring it up and down. Right now I'm scaling it down by moving the mouse around, and when I've got it just how I want it, I press click, and voila, I now have that face scaled down. Rightio. Next one, rotate, starts with R. If I press R right now, it'll actually start rotating that face around. Okay, and then once I've got where I want it, I go click, and it stays there. Okay, undo, that's Control Z. Next one is extrude. Now extrude's a fancy way of doing this. Okay, I'm not even going to try to describe it, I'm just going to show you. I'm pressing the E key right now, and I'm extruding out. Notice that face that was there, it's now extruding another face from it. I bring it out to where I want it, I go click. Select on the face, right click, or command click, press the E button, and then extrude it upwards. Select, press E, extrude it outwards. And once you've got the right place, you click. Simple as that. So grab G, scale S, rotate R, extrude E. That's by pressing those keys on your keyboard. Number 3, what happens if I press the Alt key and the left mouse click? Okay, Alt key, left mouse click, and then I move my mouse around. That's how we get to see the different views of our object. I'm holding the Alt key, I'm moving the mouse around, and as we said before, it's exactly the same as pressing the left mouse button on your mouse. Okay, number 4, how do I change my view from front, side, or camera? Down the bottom, view. Click it, and go upwards. Note, there are 2 views down there. This view here, and the view just down below. Don't use that one down below. See the little time there? Ignore that for now. Okay, so we're looking for the cubey sort of thing. That is the view that matches this box right up here. So view, and then go right, and you notice it spins around to the right hand view. At the top, right persp means right perspective. I'll explain what perspective means a little bit later. But that's the right persp. If I go and Alt left click now, notice it turned from right perspective or right view into user perspective. In other words, this is my own custom designed view of the object. View, front. You can probably guess what happens already. We have now swung around to the very, very front view of our object. View, top. View, camera. Now the camera view is a little bit different. Let me show you. Ping. This is the view that we will get if we took a photograph of this right now. We took a what's called a render of this image. We would get the view that's seen through that little box in the middle. This little thing here is what would turn up onto our view. In fact, there we go. I've done it now. I'll explain how to do it later. That's the view from the camera. Okay, right there. Now, so here we are, back inside here. This is the camera view. If I swing it around, see that thing right there? That is the camera. This thing. So if I'm going view, it's going to swing inside that camera. Bam. There we go. Rightio. Number 5. If I make a mistake, which I have done many mistakes so far in this tutorial, what do I press? Well, it says here I press Control and something. These are the undo buttons. I press Control and Z. And as you see here, I'm undoing all the mistakes that I've done. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, and I'm back to the beginning again. And that's how it was. Notice it doesn't change anything else, it just changed what I've been working on. It doesn't change the view. Like if I went through and got the wrong view and I press Control Z, it's not going to swing me back to the view that I was before. It's just working purely on the changes I've made to the object. Rightio. That's the end of part 2. Part 3 will be coming out shortly when we start creating our own model. It'll be a quick production of a robot.